Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy G and Alec here of Section 300. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for showing all the love you guys do. We're here talking about all things going on in LA right now. There's a lot of things going on with LA basketball. I'm excited to get to it. The Lakers have made their moves, and we're excited to talk about how things are going to go on with them. Clippers are maybe making some moves on the way. I want to discuss all things that have been going on around both of our squads out here. I'm excited to get into it. We can jump into it, though, real quick. Make sure you like, rate, review, subscribe. All the good support. Appreciate all the love. And yeah, Alec, let's start with our Laker guys first. We got Laker fans to be honest with you. You talk about Clippers a little bit, but yeah, want to definitely start with here in LA. And there's been a lot of moves that have been made this offseason. As you can see, there's a bunch of moves that we made this offseason. I was just starting with this couple of guys here. Gabe Vincent, Reeves was re-signed. D'Angelo Russell's brought back. Taurean Prince and others are brought on along the squad here. Excited for what's going to be going on with our LA squad. Just again, just your thoughts about the team now as some time has passed. The hype has died down. There's a lot of immediate reaction about it all. I'm now looking at this squad. Do you still feel as excited as you were when those Wolves bombs first were rolling in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's similar sentiment to what we previously discussed. I think the Lakers made a lot of really good deals contractually as far as the years and money they were able to bring guys on for. I thought it was a steal to get Austin Reeves for 4 years, mid-50s, and bringing back D'Angelo Russell for 2 years, 18 per. I thought they were good, solid moves from Pelinka. I thought it was a if I was giving him a grade, or B+ off season from him. But we did talk about at the end that felt like the Lakers were missing a little bit of something.
Right.
And we discussed that maybe that was a more solidified third option on this team. Obviously, you start and finish with LeBron and AD, but consistent third option that you can rely on. I don't quite see on the roster, but we see guys that potentially have the potential to rise to the occasion in Austin Reeves, maybe making another leap this year. Maybe D'Lo can find that consistency. Potentially Rui was great in the playoffs. Maybe he becomes even more of a consistent offensive threat. But if those guys weren't to step up, it feels like the Lakers would be missing a little bit of something.
Do you think there's a chance that they don't step up, or you think that we will see elevation as we continue, as we saw last postseason from those guys?
Yeah, I'm not convinced in D'Lo on a consistent basis.
Sure.
So I do see him potentially getting moved. And then Reeves, I think Reeves has the opportunity to elevate his play with getting more on-ball responsibilities this year in more of the point guard position. But I don't know. I don't know him seeing him like leaping to a 20 point per game kind of guy.
Right.
But if we can get mid to high teens from him, that would be awesome. But yeah, I don't know if I see a huge jump like from any of these guys. I think for the most part, these guys are who we've seen them to be to this point.
Correct. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. I think this is going to be an echo of last year in that it won't start off as bad, which is going to be a blessing for us. But I think in the end, it'll be just getting where we can get in, and we'll find our way from there. I don't think there's going to be a team that's pushing for the 1 seed or anything like that. I think we're getting the playoffs however we can, and we would seem that I think in the playoffs with the size that we now present, and guys that can elevate. We saw Reeves doing the postseason last year, Vincent doing the postseason last year, and hopefully that ripples over into this year as well. I think they can up their game to compete with anybody once they're in a 7-game series. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that plays out. And while that is the case from our side, and we see high hopes for them, we saw some talks from some folks in recent days, or I guess today actually. Bruce Brown formerly from the Nuggets, now a Indiana Pacer, well paid, like I see him get his money. He was on the Run Your Race podcast with Theo Pinson, and was talking about how playing the Lakers last year, they didn't really feel, I wouldn't say feel a threat, but they knew they were going to win each game. They went into each game where even when the Lakers had made runs and things, they saw it as the Lakers putting all their effort into those runs and knew that once those runs faded, they can come back and get over the hump as they did and in the sweep that they went on to complete. So what do you feel about Brown's comments? And then we'll go from there.
Yeah. I guess I was a little bit surprised to hear him say that like they didn't feel like they were going to lose any of those games because those were all very close games. I think the total point differential was like 24 points in the 4 losses. So like they were very close games. I know Denver did kind of dominate in stretches of them, but the Lakers also had their competitive runs too. And it felt like games that they kind of let slip away. So a little bit surprised. I mean, maybe a little bit of his ego, but I'm sure there is some truth to it when you have a superstar on your own roster in Jokic, who you believe is the best player in the world. You probably do have an extra something in your confidence, knowing that you have one of the better players in the world on your team. So a little bit of a surprise to hear that from Bruce Brown, because the Lakers, I feel like kind of gradually earned their respect post trade deadline, and it seemed like had the attention of most teams. But as we heard from Mike Malone, who was throughout the series, he was making his presence felt in post-game conferences. And then now hearing from Bruce Brown, they were very confident going up against this Lakers squad. So it was a little bit surprising to hear.
You say confident, you know what I say? The Cozy Boys were out in Denver. They knew what it was, and they didn't feel like there was really a threat. They can sit back and be like, y'all can put all your effort into these games. We know that at the end of the day, Jokic and our guys are going to step up when needed and get the job done. So it hurts to be on the receiving end of that. But I can see why he may have felt that way. I'm going back to those games. Again, it did feel like the Lakers were scrambling to find any solution to figure it out. We had the moment where the Lakers were like, oh, we lost the game. We found the formula. Yeah. I was like, we lost the game, guys. Like they still won the game in the end. So they carried it over, and clearly similar sentiment was felt by them during those moments as well. So it's just with the new rise of all these players doing media, it's always fun to hear that these guys at times have similar thoughts to you. When he said that, it kind of reminded me of some of the discussion we had during that series about how they almost were disrespected during that run while being the ones that were victorious the whole way through. So interesting from them. But I do think now going to the new look Lakers that we discussed, I do think it will be different this time around. I think we present a different threat this time around. I think there are more options for this team to elevate. I think there could be a formula that can be established that actually can be victorious for us with the amount of size and athleticism we have across the board. A little bit more shooting, hopefully, will be there. I think it's very possible that we'll go back into that matchup next year, and they won't be as cozy as they were next time around. Do you have the same thoughts? Or do you think it's going to be more the same?
Well, I guess it's a little bit complicated because Bruce Brown isn't on the Nuggets anymore. Like he's on the Pacers, so it's a different Nuggets team. And he was an impactful player on that roster, so it's not quite the same for that Nuggets team. But currently, as the Lakers stand right now, if I'm the Nuggets, I think I still am pretty confident going into that series with Jokic and Murray at the helm, and then having Aaron Gordon and Michael Porter Jr. Still there as key contributing pieces. I think the moves the Lakers have made, as I said at the top, were solid. I think retaining the guys that you see have chemistry and play well with LeBron, off of LeBron and AD, is an important piece. But I struggle to see them getting over the hump of like a couple of the elite tier teams in the West, a la Denver, and potentially Phoenix as well, just with the high-powered offense that they're going to have.
Correct.
It remains to be seen. I got to see the type of leap that Austin Reaves potentially takes and the type of play we're getting out of our role players. But yeah.
We definitely have to see. Of course, it's the middle of the offseason. The dog of the summer here, and we're just trying to find. Look forward to what's on the way here. So definitely I understand what you're saying. But for now, I guess we could say, I guess back to our first topic again. I just feel a lot more confident this year, even if it won't be to the nth degree to a championship. We don't have to go there yet. But even just in this first feeling about the season, far more confident than I was about last year. Last year, it was just biting your nails, like it's going to be more of the same. And then it started off as more of the same and in the worst way, and we've turned around the end. But not as nervous heading into the season, and do see how things could turn around grandly. So we shall see.
I'll say I think the Lakers will have a solidified playoff spot. Like I think they could be a top 4 team in the West. I don't think it's going to be a situation where we're wondering towards the end of the season if they can find their way into the play-in like they did. I think they will be a solidified playoff team. I think they've retained the guys that produced in the playoffs, and they bolstered it with some key role players as well. So I think they're going to be a solidified top 4 team in the West.
I don't know about top 4, but I do think they'll be solidified. They won't be playing. So we'll definitely get in more into that.
Who's going to be better? Run it off real quick. We got time.
Off top of the head, I'll say the Suns get ahead of them. I'll say Denver stays ahead. There's a
healthy Clippers.
There's a healthy Clippers, like
that's what I'm saying. Like,
ever existed.
So I can't bank on that. Sure. That's what I'm saying.
And we'll get more into that in a minute. But sure, I'll give Clippers that. If somehow it actually does work in Golden State with Chris Paul as a potential off the bench guy, or whatever the case is.
They were 6 last year, right?
Yeah. I'm just throwing names out there. You say off the top of the head. I'm just trying to think of teams that are out there.
Yeah, that's what I said. Solidified. Like that, you can stamp. They're definitely going to be better than the Lakers.
Well, I'm not going to stamp. I can't stamp that the Lakers are going to be up there though either. So, like I said, it's middle of the offseason.
I can. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, then that's your take. I'll let you roll with that. I have to do a little more thinking about that, but we shall see. But to that point, I will say it again.
Surprised you didn't mention your Kings, but
they're up there as well. Again,
I don't know. You didn't mention them. I don't know.
I'm thinking out loud. That's all it is. But it very well is possible that they're up there. But again, we'll see about that. But in order for them to be that solidified top 4 team, or just the team that we envision in any capacity, that's definitely going to depend a whole lot beyond LeBron. It's going to depend heavily on Anthony Davis and seeing what he can contribute. It's been interesting seeing the flip on AD in recent years as he's been here in LA. There's been a lot of talk about his inactivity. There have been plenty of the jokes about, I already had the thing lined up. Chuck calling him street clothes and everybody else with their nicknames about him and how they feel.
We called him street clothes.
Yeah, I know we did, but he pointed it, which is why I pointed to him. But just looking at Anthony Davis, have we gotten to a point now where he actually is underrated because of how narrative has played a part into how we view him?
Part of me wants to say yes, but part of me, as a Lakers fan who watches the Lakers like on a nightly basis, wants to say no. Like, I'll say yes to like the greater like casual watcher of the NBA. I think he has become underrated. He is a consistent, like the numbers are still, the production is still there in the statistics. We just see, like, as Lakers fans on a night in, night out basis, sometimes the motor isn't quite there. Sometimes you wish he would step up when LeBron is carrying a lot of the load. But he is still a 25-12 guy who is a defensive player of the year candidate. And would be a very productive. He's still a star. He teeters on superstar because of the inconsistency at times. But he's still a star in this league, all-star caliber player, all NBA level player. I feel, and a lot of teams would be happy to have him on the roster. Most teams would be. So in that sense, I would say yes, he is underrated. But as a Laker fan who watches him on a nightly basis, I would say no. He's not underrated.
Same kind of thing here. It's rare when the hate is accurate, and it's like, dang, they kind of cooking right now. all the points about he should be, even to his number, he should be a top 3 talent potentially. He should be a guy that is the face of the league. He should be a guy that is carrying the mantle from LeBron James as the lead here in LA. But he has yet to fully take hold of that. And at times, he falls the opposite way. Yes, he has shown flashes. I think even in that series versus Denver, where we talked about the Cozy Boys or whatever, even in that series, I think he did average 20 and 10 or whatever it was, and he had that good first game. I think it was where he had.
I was gonna say that probably inflated it a little bit because he had 40 in the first game. Yeah,
exactly. So he does have moments again. 4 points in one game, then he'll drop down. 40 in one game, and he'll drop down to 10 or whatever it is in the next. So his inefficiencies definitely play their part. So it's again rare where you see the hate being accurate, but I think this is one of the few situations where it is. We see what he could be, but he does not live up to that as much as we would like. So it's a tough situation for him right now. Do you think there's a chance for him to bounce back from that, or is it going to be more of the same going forward?
I think I'd say there's always a chance for him to bounce back from that. Like we did see the 2020 season where I think that was his most consistent year, his most dominant year on both sides of the ball. And he was
3 years ago now as well, though.
I know. He was the true 1A, 1B situation. Like it wasn't a clear LeBron's the one. Like he was very much a major reason why we won that chip. Right. So I think he has it in him. Whether he gets back to that point or not is up to him. Like he's still young enough to do it. Like I don't think it's a situation where he's over the hill, like past his prime. I think he still has the physical capabilities to do that. It's just I think it's more of a mental thing, and a drive, a motor thing. So it's kind of on him. Yeah.
There are some talks still about him wanting to play the 4 more. Do you think him moving to the 4 would help in that?
I know the Lakers and Plinka said it point blank that they're in the market for another big to bring on a 5 to play next to AD, and I believe they've had discussions with the AD about him being able to play the 4 more, which he's more comfortable with. As we've talked about, when the game comes down to the wire or in a series, playoff scenario, like he's going to be playing the 5 coming down the stretch of games. But if we can bring in a 5 that allows him to not have to bang with other centers for the entire game and rack up those bruises and nicks and injuries, and that keeps him healthier so that he can play 60 plus, 65 plus if he wants to qualify for awards this season. I think that's a major plus. So I'm still looking out for whatever move the Lakers make to bring in a 5, because I can understand him with his frame and his injury history not wanting to play the 5 all the time. But when it matters most, we're going to need that from him. That's what makes us the most versatile team. So,
you talked about the team and the acquisitions needed. You talked about a potential third piece that we still might need. I see that for sure. I also just see, again, to that point that they made, just having another big down low. Justin Hayes does have potential down there. Rui can be helpful down there. But having another footer down there that could definitely be helpful, that has some size and can manage some of the load that it requires. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm a child. I'll try to find a way around it. But yeah, some of the load that is required down there to succeed.
Stop laughing every time you say load, man. Just say load.
Smiling. Anyways, I definitely think another big is crucial there. So we'll see who they go to fill that void. So talking about Dwight there potentially and others. Dwight's been begging and all kinds of stuff. There are other bigs out there, I believe, as well. But Dwight has been active online, making jokes about things. So we'll see if he ends up getting that call. But yeah, exciting things to see here for the Lakers. And on the flip side, there's similar things going on there, trying to figure out what to do with that roster. There's a lot of talk right now, beyond Kawhi and PG, of course, about adding another star to that team, and James Harden. James Harden has been I've made it known, it appears, that he wants to go to LA and join forces with not only Kawhi and PG, but his former teammate Russell Westbrook as well, and make that group happen, and sees great possibilities of that working. So do you agree with Harden, or do you see Harden working in LA? And just your thoughts on that potential trade.
Yeah, I think Harden to the Clippers is very intriguing. We've seen Harden's shortcomings, I guess, in crucial moments in the playoffs. Like we've seen him have big moments in games that I won't say don't matter, but aren't as like high leverage moments,
Right.
like a game 6, game 7 closeout games where he's kind of shrunk. I think having Harden, who has shown you those downsides in key moments, next to a guy like Kawhi, who we've seen elevate his game in key moments like that. I think that makes it more appealing to bring on a star like Harden, who can be a distributor for this team in a starting role. I think Russ will be in that 6-man role most likely.
Right.
So bringing in a starting point guard of Harden's level, who is one of the leaders in assists since he's shifted to being a point guard in this league, putting that next to Kawhi and PG, I think can be a dangerous combination offensively, and then defensively. I mean, you have Kawhi and Paul George already anchoring that on the perimeter, and a decent interior defender, shot blocker in Zubac as well. So I think this could be potentially a dangerous combination. I mean, obviously all these guys in their primes all the time, like this looks sensational on paper. But
Correct.
Harden is a little bit past his prime, but still a star in this league.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a very intriguing trio, and then Russ off the bench, still electric too. So yeah, I think it'd be very potential. Obviously, it's all based on health, but
Right.
potential threat at a finals appearance.
It's weird to say with how flashy of a game he has. It's weird to say with how flashy of a style he has, personality-wise. He has all the marketing in his face, the beard that he marketed, his fashion on the court, the runways, and all the kind of stuff he does. As loud as he may be in that regard, it's interesting that he actually doesn't seem like he actually wants to be the lead. Like he actually would rather have somebody else get all the attention when it comes to the basketball and have somebody else he can turn to. Like his interviews are never that boisterous or whatever the case may be. Like he lets his play do the talking, he lets his style do the talking. His actual words he tends to be short on. So in a situation like this, we could be a third option where Kawhi and PG are going to be the faces at all times. Where Kawhi and PG are going to have the ones that all the pressure is going to be put on. He can just play and be himself, similar to what we saw with Russ over there. Same kind of thing. I think not having the pressure there, having other stars that will take all of the, not all of it, but will be the main receivers of the criticism. I think can be a very successful situation for him. Plus, again, to the point about his style, now being in LA can only add to it as well. I'm sure he'll be comfortable in that regard too. So yeah. I think it works out on all fronts for him. And to your points, I think him showing that he may be past his prime a little bit, but when he is locked in, can be a great facilitator, can still at times be a great scorer. Yeah, that is what the Super Team definitely could use. I think it worked out contractually, whatever the case is. I think it would be a very successful thing for them. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what comes of it. There are a lot of talks that from all these burner sources that are popping up online and things, all kind of joke that it's pretty much all set and done. So if that's the case, yeah, would they, to your point about the Lakers being solidified top 4, would the Clippers be top 4 with Harden now on that roster?
Yeah, I'll answer that real quick. I was going to say, I think chemistry-wise, I think it's also a great fit. All of them really are LA guys. Harden is as well, Russ is as well, and they already have that friendship and they've played together, and it worked pretty well in Houston. Yeah. Go for it.
PG's Palmdale, but he claims it, so
right. We know. We'll count him in there. He's a Cali boy. Well, he's a Cali boy.
Close enough.
But yeah, so I think chemistry-wise, I think the fit would work pretty well. I was just gonna say too that Harden is he's been putting in a lot of trade requests in the last few years. It seemed like every season he's putting in a trade request for a new team. I don't know if I have a statement about that. Just an observation. He's not really staying anywhere too long.
I'll slightly jump out. We're in the age of player empowerment and all of that, which is beautiful. But low key, some of these players don't know what they want. So they be asking for stuff and then like, oh, this is not what I meant. Can I go somewhere else?
Yeah.
So I think Harden has suffered from that a little bit where he's kind of asked for some things and got in situations, he's looked around like, wait, this is what I asked for? Get me out of here. Right. So yeah. I think he's one of them players who has maybe ask for a little too much. But in this
Yeah.
situation, it may be actually the right fit. I mean, again, I'm excited to see how that plays.
He's still a player that like his abilities and his caliber of play still affords him the ability to request a trade
Yeah,
and be appeased.
right,
But he's a little bit over the hill. Once you hit that point where you're no longer worth the headache of trying to
right,
move. I don't know if he's
right.
going to be able to pull a move like this much longer. So hopefully this is the perfect landing spot if it does happen for him.
Also,
Yeah.
real quick, I don't know how many more times he can pull out that suit move where he gets big before the season and comes back. It's hard to snap back so many times, man. So if he gets big again, he might stay
Oh
big. So
my
you gotta
god.
be careful trying to use that
Oh
move to
my
get
god.
where he wants.
We're
So
not we're not fat we're not fat shaming on this
we're not
podcast.
fat shaming, not at all, not at all. If he stays big, beautiful thing. Do what you gotta do. But I'm just saying he has at times gotten big and then gotten back into shape. I don't know if he's gonna be able to get back into shape. He might stay in that other shape if he keeps on trying that move. So
to
we shall
your
see.
to your original question, I do think obviously this is fingers crossed they stay healthy, or 3 of the 4 guys stay healthy at least. I think this can be a top 4 seed in the West. Like as I said in our last segment with the Lakers,
Which
uh,
three?
I think I really don't think it matters, to be honest.
So as long as 3 of the 4, no matter what pairing
Yeah,
of that is, as long as 3 of the 4 are there,
yeah.
they're a top seed.
Like obviously, like if you're ranking the best of them, Kawhi is 1, PG's
That's kind of what I
2,
was alluding
Harden's
to. Like
3,
if I
Russ
think if
is
Kawhi is
4.
out, that does change some things. Though I
If
and
Kawhi is out though, Russ, PG, and Harden is a
for
pretty
sure,
nice
for
trio.
sure,
Yeah. So
for sure. I'm just saying Kawhi is Kawhi. Like I don't want to discredit who that man is.
absolutely, absolutely.
So yeah, I can see how there could be a drop off there potentially with him
Uh,
not on that court. Maybe at
sure,
least offensively for sure.
sure, for sure, for sure. But yeah, I think even with 3 of the 4, I think you have a really strong nucleus there to be
Mhm.
able to put a lot of wins on the board. There's other questions about Tyronn Lue, which we'll get into on another episode. But yeah, I think if they were to acquire Harden, I see them being a top 4 seed in the West as well.
Got it. Got it. So yeah, definitely a fun thing. And a lot to talk about with Harden, and we'll wait further for confirmation first of that trade to happen and see what the new roster looks like to get more into it. But for now, with the roster as is, before Harden even gets there, yeah, considering their injury history, as we kind of discussed, RPG and Kawhi still a finals caliber duo. We've seen a few times now where we believe they were, and we see how great their talents are, and then they get hurt, and the whole thing falls apart. We saw in this last playoff run, Kawhi showed out in the first game. Like, oh, this team could upset the Suns. This team could be a sneaky finals team. And it turns out he hurt himself again in that first game, and it was all downhill from there.
Right.
So is this duo, as great as they individually are they actually the finals caliber duo?
Man, we talked about at the end of the season, like we didn't feel that they could go on with this duo and expect a different result.
Right.
So I think bringing in Harden solidifies it a little bit more. Just kind of having that other star to fall back on if the injury concerns crop up once again.
Right.
I do think, as you kind of alluded to, if Kawhi were to be out, I think that essentially nixes the championship possibilities. I think you need Kawhi healthy in order to get over the hump of actually winning a championship. He's the only one that has won a title, and has shown that he has what it takes to win a title.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it's just this duo with Russ. I liked their chances in the Sun series last year, but
Were there?
I had my concerns about going against the Nuggets though.
That was without PG, if I remember that correct as well, right?
Yeah, it was
PG was
without
out.
PG as
Yeah.
well. It was without PG as well. But I had my concerns with them going up against the Nuggets, and I had my concerns with them going up against the Lakers too, if
Yeah,
they
sure.
eventually met up with them. So I'll say no. I don't think this duo, just as is, can win a championship. Because we've seen them break down year after year. If it's not one, it's the other. Like they had the run without Kawhi, where they met up with the Suns in the Western Conference Finals in 2021, and put forth a good effort, but they needed Kawhi to get over the hump there. 2 of them healthy, I can't. like cross my fingers and say like both of them will be healthy throughout an entire run anymore. So
Right.
I'll say no. I don't think this duo as is can win a championship.
Yeah, I agree with that right now. Actually, just because of what we've seen, we will hope for otherwise. As I've said for a while now, I've been a big Paul George fan for his whole career, and would love to see him get a ring. But with this pairing as is, and the reality of how things have continued to go with them, it's gonna be hard for them to do so if they continue through what continue going as they have been so far. So hopefully, as you pointed out, James Harden can potentially change that.
Right.
But for now, it is what it is, and we'll talk more about it as the season gets closer. And now with those two big things out the way, both with Lakers and Clippers, to tie them together first, or I got two bonus questions actually for you.
Okay.
The first one is, before their 10 years are over, do you think we're going to get a Lakers Clippers playoff series? That's what we've been begging for.
Yeah.
Is it ever going to happen? Do you think we get one this year? What's up with these two?
Man, I really hope so. I mean, from what we've discussed now, just like projecting Harden on the Clippers and projecting the Lakers being a top 4 seed, like I guess if they were both able to win their first round playoff matchup, they would meet.
Right.
So I'll say yes. Like the streets need this, as we say.
LA needs it.
Yeah. So
it's been weird, even with the Lakers' success in recent years.
Right.
Clipper fans are still as loud and boisterous as ever. So we need that series just to shut down all the tops once and for all, because they like they're here. Their stamp is light if it even exists at all.
Right. It's unfortunate some of the series we've missed out on over the years. Like we would have loved to have a Kobe LeBron series, that kind of thing too. So I really hope we do finally get the Battle of LA in the playoffs. I will say the Battle of LA for the past decade or so, it's been all Clippers in the regular season. It's been all Clippers. Like Lakers can clown the Clippers as much as we want for them not having a finals, but they've been beating our ass for the better part of a decade. So
sure.
I would love to see them meet up in a playoff series, and the better LA team get that stamp finally in a playoff series win. So I hope so. I believe I'll say yes. I believe we will get that this year.
All right, I'm gonna just say fingers crossed. I hope so. There's no guarantee with how both these teams always end up injuring things. So we'll see about that. The last part, as I've kind of alluded to a couple of times now, there's been a wave in recent weeks of all these new guys, new players popping up saying that Paul George is my GOAT. Paul George is my GOAT. Brandon Miller, who just got drafted, said that. Carl Anthony's son said that. On TikTok, you see a bunch of kids echoing those same sentiments. I've actually been kind of somewhat, and I haven't said my GOAT.
Never said he was your GOAT.
He's been my favorite player for a long while now, as I've alluded to, having multiple jerseys and all that kind of stuff, and just really have enjoyed all of his game. With that being the case, we look at a guy like Paul George and see why they say that, and they talk about how versatile his game is. He's a guy that checks all the boxes. He plays both sides of the ball. His game is very smooth and all of that. So for those reasons, they say that. And while they do say that and I understand it, there's another guy in LA who should have similar claim beyond LeBron as well, and that's Anthony Davis, who we've talked about. Anthony Davis is a very versatile big. He's a stretch big who has for a while led the pack of that style of play. Has someone to handle himself, shoots the ball, and has a crafty game to himself. Is an all-world defender as well. But when you hear guys talk about him, they don't have the same reverence as people do for Paul George, which I think is very interesting. So to that point, who you think actually has a bigger impact on the game, Anthony Davis or Paul George?
That's a good question. Just like an impact on the game of basketball as a whole, you mean?
Basketball,
yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think AD has had like the basketball, more of the basketball success.
Sure.
But to your point about what players look up to Paul George and seek to model their game after, I think there is like a positionality thing where guys growing up playing ball, it's more aesthetically pleasing, like the perimeter guys and watching their games,
right?
And their ability to create shots for themselves and run and dunk and make the highlight plays, that kind of thing. Right. So I think it's maybe a little bit unfair to the big man in AD with this matchup here, because I think.
Well, it's unfair, but and to us it's unfair. But when you see it across the league, there's a bunch of bigs now that have changed their game and have handled now. There's a bunch of bigs walking around. We see Wemby in the league, right, entering the league right now. There's all the rave about how versatile he is. Before him, it was AD, who was the new young face that could do it all, play both sides of the ball real well, and all of that. And yeah, so when you don't hear people bring up his name, it's interesting.
Yeah, but to that point, that I can remember, I can't remember young players or people our age just saying like that they model their game after AD or that they wanted to play like him or that kind of thing. Like, not to say he wasn't a superstar caliber player, but I think more guys have sought to model their games off of the type of archetype of player that Paul George is. And part of that too is a lot of us aren't going to grow to be 7 feet and want to play
Paul
that type
George
of
is what, 6'9" himself, right? So I mean, it's not like he's
Dad, you giving him some inches there.
Oh, pause. But also, isn't that not how tall he is? How tall is Paul George?
Yeah, I mean he's a forward. He's probably like 6'7".
He's 6'8", 6'9", same thing.
He's a 2-3. You know they be lying about them heights as well too. He's a 2 guard. He's a 2 or 3. Like AD is in a perfect world. He's a 5. Like there's a difference there in the type of players they are. But Paul George, I maybe you could say just with the cultural impact to what you're alluding to of young players seeking to model their game after him or viewing him as their GOAT, would have probably the bigger impact on basketball in that way. I was gonna say I don't know that either guy is really remembered long term, just where their careers have gone to this point, like in 20, 30 years, kind of to the conversation that Damian Lillard has had about how the game is going to remember you in the future. I don't know that either guys have left the lasting like legendary type impact like on the game. But just to this question, I would say Paul George.
Maybe not to the grandest of degree, of course, because AD has just 1 ring and Paul George has none, hasn't even got to the finals yet. So to that extent, no, they have not had the grandest of careers, I guess, in that capacity. But what was I gonna say? Just thanks to things like the NBA 75 and video games and all the kinds of the new era stuff, they're guys that people still remember guys beyond Michael Jordan. Like, it's not just Michael Jordan and the rest. There are other guys that are still remembered and respected and revered. Someone who Paul George was compared to a lot. Tracy McGrady is still beloved by a lot of folks because of his game and the moments he had. He didn't have the grandest of postseason careers either. I don't think he had much of a postseason career of success in himself. But still is viewed as one of the more talented guys ever in the league. So I think it is possible to still be respected and viewed long term as one of the all-time greats. And these guys will at least be somewhat in discussion for a while here. So just as we see a lot of kids and things, look at them and really revere them. Yeah, it's interesting to see how Paul George is a little bit more loved than AD in those discussions. So we'll see how that continues to go. Hopefully AD gets another ring and it could change the discussion a little bit more as things go along, but we shall see. Anything more you want to add to that?
No, I think we're good.
All right. So that's it. That's all for right now. And usually that would be the end of the episode. But again, here we are. We're in the middle of the trend of crossover grids and all of that. So let's go ahead and put a top 7 minutes on the clock, 8 minutes on the clock. I'll let you pick the amount of time. We'll do that. And before we get out of here, we'll put this together. So
just throw like 5 minutes on the clock.
I'll put 5 minutes on the clock, and I'll say with that I will admit that I started this earlier on. That I remember we're going to record. So I got 3 of them done. I'll give you the 3, and then we'll go from there. That could be one, but the ones that I had actually were some sleepers. So for one, I had Lou Will for this one for Clipper. Well, again, let's restate what's what. So up top, we got Sixers, Timberwolves, and Pistons. Down the side, we got Sun, Clippers, and the Trailblazers. So for the first one, Sixers and Clippers, I got Lou Will. Let me make sure I spell it right. You only get 9 guesses. For the Timberwolves and Clippers, can you guess what I got for this one? It's a sleeper. Play for the Lakers as well.
Said Timberwolves and Clippers.
Play for the Lakers as well. During the Kobe era, had dreads, and I believe it was a big.
During the Kobe era?
It's a deep dive of a name.
You said Ronny Turioff?
Ronny Turioff. Yep. He checks those boxes.
I don't remember him on the Wolves.
Yeah, he was there
before the Lakers, probably, huh?
For a quick second, I believe. So yeah, he checks the box for Wolves and Clippers. And then the last one I got, the last Clipper actually, I got that Clipper row. The Clipper one that I got for the Pistons was Reggie Bullock, who played for
real Clipper fans over here.
Yeah, I guess so. So that's the three. For those that care about rarity and all of that, when these load up from last time I saw, all these are real low. So our rarity score should be pretty low, which is nice. But now we can continue on from there and fill in the last 6 boxes. So the last ones are Sixers, Suns, the Suns row. So Suns along with the Sixers, Wolves, and Pistons, and the Trailblazers along with the Sixers, Trailblazers, and Pistons. So wherever you want to go from there, go ahead. 5 minutes on the clock now.
I said PJ Tucker for Suns, Sixers. Believe
that
Jeremy Grant was Sixers and Blazers, correct?
Correct. Ooh, let me spell it right.
Wolves, I feel like was harder for us in the past. Now, did Marbury play for the Wolves?
I don't think so.
I know Knicks. So. Rubio didn't do any Suns, did he?
Ooh, he might have. During those real bad Suns era. I see him alongside Eric Bledsoe and all those guys during that era where they had 35 point guards next to Devin Booker. I'm pretty sure he was there in that mix, but we'll save that. Trailblazers and Wolves. Where was Nurkic at before Portland?
Before Portland?
Oh, he was behind Jokic, right, in Denver, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So not him.
Pistons.
Man, these are some nasty combos.
Was
people think we can move that around. Jeremy Grant, I think, would have fit for Pistons, and
this is a nasty name. I don't know if it was on both, but I feel like Isaiah Joe is a name that I've seen, like for like Pistons Suns.
Isaiah Joe.
Do you know that name?
I know that name. He's a shooter that kind of popped up this year. He had a nice little run at some point. He might cross that box. I think one that we always forget that I think may fit for one of these. Aaron Aflalo, again, isn't that Wolves and Blazers?
That's Pistons and Portland. Is Aaron Aflalo? Yeah,
Pistons and Portland.
He got drafted to Pistons, and he played for the Blazers.
All right, there's a great grab right there. Can we get the H going? Can we get the Pistons and the Suns right now? You want to try Isaiah Joe for that right now? I think that does.
That's a nasty name, man. It's a nasty
name. We got
name.
2.5 minutes left.
We still got time.
Okay. All right, then I'll let you think. I mentioned Eric Bledsoe. Does he check that box for any of these? He bounced around.
Not the Wolves.
Who am I thinking of? Sean Marion? No. Tayshaun Prince?
I only remember him on the Pistons. He played somewhere else late, but
we're now at 1:45. You want to try either of those names you mentioned? You got mentioned Isaiah Joe and somebody else. I forgot who it was. Rubio.
I mentioned Rubio. I don't know if I remember him on the Suns though.
We got 140. I'm gonna try it. Okay. Yeah.
You can go for it.
Bang.
Okay. All right.
We're rolling 2 left. 1.5 minutes left.
Okay, we still got a little bit of time. Not yet. Leave that for the last 30 or whatever.
All right. Timberwolves and Blazers.
I feel like the Wolves had us stuck last time too.
This is I don't know why his name came to mind.
Did Shved play on the Blazers?
Oh, Steve, or whatever it was. Somebody else said that's boring.
Alexei Shved is who I was thinking of.
He might have. Another name that came to mind. Mario Hezonja. Didn't he play?
Definitely Blazers. I don't know about the Wolves. Blazers and Knicks, I know he played for.
We're at 45. So you want to put in for that? For either one of those? We can do Isaiah Joe.
You can try Isaiah Joe. I don't know why that name came to mind, but
Isaiah Joe. No. Dang.
No. I think he was just one of those teams.
I'll try my Hezonja as well, just to.
Remember him blocking LeBron?
Yeah. oh well, 7 for 9 this week. They don't show the answers.
I know. I wish this one showed answers.
They did announce updates on the way, so maybe that's the next update for this one. I think it's 6 o'clock. I think there might be a new one by the time we refresh this. Excuse me. So we'll see. But good things going here. We'll continue to do this episodes as things go along. But a lot of good discussion here going on with obviously the crossover grids, which are fun. Then as well as the Lakers and Clippers things going on all across the off season. So good stuff there. You want to sneak in the HOOPGRIDS one as well? There's 2 sites. You want to throw that in real quick for the fun of it?
Might as well.
Let's do it in. All right, we might as well at the end of the episode. There's one more that popped up. There's crossover grids and HOOPGRIDS. HOOPGRIDS is unlimited versus crossover grids, which is just 9 guesses. So HOOPGRIDS now has the Kings, Suns, and 1,000 career blocks. Then down the side, they have the Cavs, the Knicks, and the Sixers. So this should be good. They got like the Kings in there. They got the Suns in there, who we discussed a little bit. So yeah, it should be some good stuff. 1,000 career blocks. You want to start there? Go ahead.
Isaiah Thomas, Kings and Cavs.
Correct.
I guess it also works for Suns and Cavs, but Kings and Cavs.
Yeah, I guess we'll save that for somebody else. The Cavs, we just discussed that. Sean Marion.
Oh, that's right. I was gonna say Big Z for the 1,000 career blocks. Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
And again, our rare score, we'll try to keep it under. What was it? 200 last time.
We kept it under 200. Yeah.
Yeah. So off to a great start with that. 1,000 blocks.
Big Z.
You wanted to try it? I thought you said you were thinking somebody else.
Oh no. Zydrunas Ilgauskas. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, that's a big one. Dang, I didn't think it would be that high.
Everybody knows that one. Someone else who might be big, but it's a name that immediately comes to mind. Amon Shumpert played for the Knicks and the Kings. You want to put that in? We'll try for our Kings Knicks.
For which?
Kings Knicks.
Oh,
he was there for a second. Real low key. What did that say? 14%. All right, not bad. I'll take that. Knicks and Suns. I feel like that's somebody.
Oh, I just said Marbury. I think Marbury was on both.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go.
8%. Yeah, we're rolling this time. Career blocks. Does Mitchell Robinson already have 1,000?
Not 1,000. He's only played like 3 or 4 years.
Who was there before him then as a big? Tyson Chandler played there for a second.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. 16%. Nice. All right.
I'll not bad. That. I mean, less than 100 for 6.
Right. Kings, Sixers.
Throw Nerlens Noel, but he hasn't played yet.
He hasn't played there yet.
Has Metu been on the Sixers? Oh, Rashawn Holmes, I know, but it might be kind of high.
Well, we got room. We're at only 94% for the score, so
okay, you can go for it.
90%. That's not bad. I'll take that. So,
I think it's lagging for me. Oh, there we go.
All right, 114 right now. So we're gonna get under 200. So what do you want to put for Sun Sixers and 1,000 blocks for the Sixers?
Sun Sixers, we can do PJ Tucker again. Or do you want to do someone less?
We can try for less just for the sake of it. PJ Tucker is going to be the answer, but if you want to try another name, who did I mention last time?
I feel like both Greens only played for one. Like Danny Green played for the Sixers. I don't think he played for the Suns. And then Gerald Green played for the Suns. I don't think he played for the Sixers.
Oh, one of the Morrises play for the Sixers? Markeith, one of them?
I thought I remember.
Gotta try it?
You can try it.
Marcus, no. I don't know which is which. It's one of them boys. Markeith, I guess neither. All right. Markeith did it, so not them.
1,000 career blocks. Right. Someone other than Embiid for blocks. You could try Nerlens there. I don't know if he has 1,000, but you could try it.
He has 1,000. I guess we'll try it.
Might as well try it though. It might be low if he does.
Yeah, no, he does not. Who else has been there? Didn't Andre Jordan back up Embiid at one point?
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. 4%. There we go. Great grab. All right. Trying to get under, what do you want to say, 140?
Sure.
Who's his last grab going to be?
Someone other than people.
Suns and Sixers.
Who else did Suns and Sixers?
I don't know why Eric Bledsoe played everywhere, didn't he? Didn't he play on the Sixers as well?
I know the
or
Suns.
No?
Suns, Bucks, Clippers. I don't know if he played on the Sixers.
I keep wanting to say his name. Nope, I guess not.
Right?
All right. I tried, it didn't work. Sixers and Suns. The obvious name was PJ.
Right. Want to try Gerald Green? I don't know if he played for the Sixers.
Gerald Green bounced around. Justin Holiday bounced around. I always think of his name for whatever reason. Here's a name. Didn't Thabo Cephalosha play for the Sixers and the Suns?
I think so.
We'll go with that one. Oh, I guess not. All right. Who did you say?
Who did I say? Oh, I said Gerald Green.
Gerald Green. No.
Yeah, so just the Suns for him.
Uh-huh.
Oh. He played for both of them? Saric?
Dario Saric. Oh, yeah. That's a good one. 14%. All right.
Okay.
So we got
all right.
There we go. Dang. All right. So that was it. We took 3 in that then we shouldn't have. We've been going for too long.
Right.
And hoop grids. Good stuff going on with Lakers and Clippers here, and excited for what's going to go on with the season. A lot more stuff on the way. Getting more of your content beyond Lakers as we've been doing. We did a lot of good stuff as the playoffs were going on, but want to expand, of course, beyond that. We talk about all of LA, get more into the Clippers, getting more into football, which is on the way. We're getting close finally, which is on the way. We're going to get more into Chargers and Rams, as well as USC and UCLA football a little bit as well. Dodgers baseball, that's been going well also. So a lot of good things are on the way. Excited to talk about everything with you guys. Again, thank you for tuning in as you guys do. Let us know what your rare scores were for all the grid and see how you guys compare to us, and hit us up across all platforms for a lot of great content. IG, TikTok, Threads, wherever you want to find us, we're active on all of that, having a good time, and we appreciate all the love. So, yeah, that's it for right now. Again, appreciate y'all for tuning in as you guys do. See you guys again real soon. And, yeah, we out here, man. Peace.
Doses.
It's hot out here, man. It's hot.